Where am I?
Be quiet.
What do you want?
We have a few questions for you, and you're going to answer them.
Okay. I'll do my best.
First, what is Doctor Who Redacted?
Well, Doctor Who Redacted is an audio drama podcast about three friends who run a podcast, and they are thrown into an adventure. Adventure. And actually, the episode that I need to review next is about an interrogation. So this is kind of funny.
Enough about that.
I'm sorry.
Shut up! Next question. How many episodes are you behind?
I'm a couple episodes behind, but I promise I'm going to get these reviews out. I'll do it.
All right. Stop. Don't care about that. Last question.
Okay.
What is your favorite color?
Oh, that's easy. Blue. No, yellow. Hello everybody, my name is ProfPixel here once again to review Doctor Who Redacted, and as my interrogation went, it was a dark time, but I'm okay, it's alright. They don't really care about my favorite color, isn't that funny? But we are here, of course, to review Doctor Who Redacted. You already heard what it is, but let's go ahead and talk about episode 5. I always try my best to do my non-spoilery thoughts first, and I'll give you that. This episode is absolutely necessary. I would go ahead and say that while I do enjoy the other 4 episodes, that mostly they were clearly chunks of the story. This is actually the first time that I recall jumping in and thinking, wow, maybe I should have re-listened to the previous one before starting this one. But I got through it just fine. If you don't want spoilers, you need to go ahead. Stop the video. If you see this little bar right here, you're going to need to pause it, because I'm going to talk about what happens. And if you don't want that, you need to run. But if you do, well, then there you go. Ultimately, our 3 characters are thrown into a room. And they are taken one at a time by this man. And first, they take Shauna in, and this agent named Miller is questioning her about the Blue Box files. He says that all their reports, talking about people disappearing, all this, is all just fake. There's no evidence to back these things up, and so they're just spreading things that are just untrue, fake news. But Shauna quickly refutes that. She's like, no. None of this makes sense to her, because clearly people have been disappearing. They've been gone. And so she turns things around, starts talking about his shadowy government agency and how they may be behind these disappearances. But he says that his bosses protect people like Shauna's grandmother. And she doesn't like her being brought into this. And ultimately she notices after a moment that at certain times, Agent Miller taps his foot on the floor. She realizes, as she's looking into some kind of mirror, that someone must be giving him instructions. Miller quickly ignores that and asks the question, tell me about the doctor. How does she answer? with her own. Doctor Who. Quickly, Shauna's thrown back in. Abby's taken in next. Cleo and Shauna have a moment here, how Cleo wants to see her father again, and how maybe if her father was taken by these people, maybe she could go back and just disappear from the world. Maybe that would be better. Clearly, Shauna doesn't like that because she's her friend. But we get to the exciting thing, which is Abby. She's brought into the office, and quickly we get into, well, not his questions, because Abby wants to know some information about what they're doing here on Earth. Because, these people, they can't be from here. Their bosses, extraterrestrial. Yeah, that's not it. But he just laughs at that, shrugs it off, and quickly just takes out a phone and says, I want to play something for you. And it's an episode of the Blue Box Files, and they're talking about star signs. Astrology. But during this episode, they press on, because while astrology is important to Cleo, for example, and Shauna just dismisses it, Abby doesn't want to talk about that. She wants to talk about the fact that people were noticing stars in the sky that just weren't there, because it all goes to static. Their topic, that clearly involves someone we know, it just cuts off. And now Abby is confused because it's not supposed to be like that. She says, actually, it's a really good episode. You should listen. Like, most of our episodes, because we run a podcast here on Mad Men with a Box, and every week we have an episode where we usually review something and we talk about the Doctor Who news of the week. So if you like that, well, you should go check that out. But enough of some self-shilling here. Miller believes that this is on purpose. And suddenly he tries the tactic he tried with Shauna, bringing Abby's mother into this, because she's her full-time carer. And if she doesn't tell them what they want to know about the doctor, well, her mother won't be very safe, will she? Then he starts bringing up names. Penny Carter. Oliver Morgenstern? Doctor. The doctor, not the doctor, but the doctor. Not the doctor, but Dr. Oliver, who is supposed to be from the episode Smith and Jones. And finally, Ronnie Chandra. They're all gone now. They're missing. Nobody knows where they went to, and they wanted some answers, as they believe the doctor cannot possibly be the one doing this, as Abby is suddenly speculating. Because the doctor's a hero. And finally he wants to know. Slams his hand down. What have you done to the doctor? And after that, Abby's just taken back. And it's finally Cleo's turn. As Cleo is brought to the room, sat down with Miller, he goes ahead and asks about the podcast, her podcast, and asks if someone is behind this, making them put it out. And Cleo tries to just shrug it off, saying, I'm just there for the quips. I'm just there to have fun. And Miller's suddenly saying, that's an excellent cover. He moves on quickly then, talking about where she grew up and how her mother still lives there, but how suddenly her brother, who she lives with, has disappeared, and that maybe she's behind it. That's ridiculous, of course, but she's not happy about that either. And she quickly wants any information she has. Do they know anything? But no, he's not giving her any information on Jordan. And goes ahead and adds that Cleo should be very, very scared of whatever is doing this, whatever's taking them, if she truly has nothing to do with it. But she insists that with her way of life, she's scared by all sorts of things all the time with society. And that this nothing, this drop in the bucket. So she knows what it's like to be scared. And Miller, at that moment, just kind of drops off. His whole routine where he was being forceful to each of them fades. And she actually makes a note about that. But Miller goes ahead and admits that this is all terrifying. Because this sort of event should be solved by the doctor. But now, it seems that the doctor might be behind this. And then Cleo realizes, wait, you're talking about the doctor? Miller, of course, is so excited. Because somebody else actually remembers the doctor. And as Miller starts to go on about how everyone around him is seeming to forget, and if the doctor is truly the one behind this, who's turned to the dark side, then maybe this could be the end of humanity altogether. But something happens. Cleo asks, "Wait, are you okay?" Because he starts getting distorted. Like static takes him over. And he's saying how he's just really someone. Because he's stuck on a loop. And suddenly he, after saying, "Please help me," starts screaming. And Cleo starts screaming for help because as the static takes over his screaming, he seems to just be cut from reality. And at that moment, as Cleo is screaming for help, someone walks in. It's Kate Stewart. Kate Lethbridge? I don't know if she did. Most of the time we just hear Kate Stewart. That's okay. Kate, she enters the room. She introduces herself. She's telling Cleo to calm down. Cleo, understandably, is very upset. What are you talking about? This man just disappeared. And Kate says, "What man? There was no man in this room. It's just been you." And Cleo, of course, freaks out even more. But Kate comes up with the idea, "Okay, you want us to bring your friends in here? Will you calm down so we can actually have a conversation?" And he tells one of her men, Robert, to go ahead and do that. And they're all brought into the room. However, whenever they're brought in, and they're with Cleo, and she starts to bring up the interrogation, they don't remember Miller either. They don't know the man that just was with them. And Kate goes ahead and stops them. They want information. They want information from them. What is the blue box? Who controls it? And now confusion is all around. And Cleo brings up, this has to do with the doctor. It's called a TARDIS, has to do with the doctor. And that's when Kate Stewart's man, not her man, but her man freaks out. He doesn't accept, "No, you can't expect me to believe that," and pulls out a gun, saying it's a matter of national security. He's taking it into his own hands. Kate tries to calm him down, saying he needs to go ahead, stand down, or he'll be court-martialed. Going so far as to go ahead and step in front of him. But Abby then says they know nothing. And Cleo realizes they know nothing. She goes ahead and says that unit altogether, you've all forgotten the doctor. And they're all scared, terrified. And that they are the only ones who know. And that's why they have them. She goes ahead and just walks up straight to Roberts. The gun is still pointed at her, but She says that because they are the only one in the room with any kind of answer, they need them. They're their only hope. And that now, they're in charge. Maybe that ending, maybe that line could seem a little hokey to some people, but to me, I liked it. I did, because they truly are the ones with information. They're the only ones who know anything when it comes to the blue box, because everyone else seems to forget it, because they run this podcast. They're the only ones who seem to be able to have any kind of idea about it. But it's to such a level that only Cleo's the one who can remember that the doctor is the one that's supposed to run behind it, and the actual name, the TARDIS. And she just takes control of the situation. And it works for me. It does. I think it's a very strong episode. I am very happy with how it went. I was a little worried about, why exactly they were being taken and what it could mean. But here, clearly, I had no reason to worry. Solid. And it makes me wonder about going ahead and listening to the next episode and what's going on there. And I could, but I'm late. As this is coming out, I'm over a week late, and I apologize. I really do. I'll have the other review coming out very, very soon, and we'll go ahead and discuss this show that we love. Oh, or at least I love. I'm not sure if you do. If you are watching these and not listening to Doctor Who Redacted, you're making a huge mistake. This show is phenomenal. It's great. I have loved pretty much every episode. And even when there's something that I don't really care for, I can push it off and just enjoy what is there. There's so much good. It makes me excited for every week. I also have to say that, of course, this is some of the best Who content we've gotten in years. So you need to be listening to this if you consider yourself a Doctor Who fan. No, not trying to gatekeep. I'm just saying, you like Doctor Who, you should like this too. But that's about it. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to please check out the rest of the stuff on the channel. We do a live show every Wednesday at about 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if that doesn't interest you, that's fine. How about more audio drama stuff? Chris does audio drama reviews where he reviews Big Finish content. And you know what? His videos are great. You really should check those out as well. But that's about it. That's all we have time for now this week. But thank you so much for joining me. Please make sure to check out the podcast and stick around on the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts below. And finally, thank you for watching. Geronimo, Alonzi, see you next time. Bye-bye.